Your mind is your greatest weapon. There comes a moment in every person's life when the world grows quiet, not because the noise has disappeared, but because something deeper begins to speak. It is the voice that has been waiting beneath every excuse, every fear, every disappointment, and every dream you abandoned too soon. It asks only one question: who is really in control of your life? Most people believe the answer lies somewhere outside themselves. They blame circumstances, luck, the economy, the opinions of others, or the opportunities they never received. But history tells a different story. Every generation has produced men and women who stood in the middle of uncertainty and still built extraordinary lives. They were not born with perfect conditions. They were born with a decision to master the one thing no obstacle could ever truly control: the mind. Your greatest weapon has never been your talent. Talent can remain unnoticed. It has never been your education. Knowledge without action gathers dust. It has never been your money. Fortunes disappear every day. It has never even been your physical strength, because time eventually humbles everybody. The greatest weapon you possess is the invisible force that shapes every visible result: your mind. Everything around you existed twice. First as a thought, then as reality. Before a skyscraper reached toward the clouds, it lived inside someone's imagination. Before a masterpiece inspired millions, it was only an idea refusing to disappear. Before an invention transformed civilization, it survived years of ridicule inside the mind of someone who believed what others could not yet see. The world is built by people who first conquered the invisible before they ever conquered the visible. Look at Thomas Edison. Thousands of experiments failed before one succeeded. Most people remember the light bulb. They forget the darkness that surrounded every failed attempt. Every setback whispered that the dream was impossible. Yet Edison understood something the average person never learns: failure does not defeat the determined mind. It educates it. Every mistake became another lesson. Every disappointment became another step. He did not wait for certainty. He created it through persistence. Henry Ford heard experts insist that his vision would never work. They believed ordinary people would never own automobiles. Ford listened, but he did not surrender his thinking to their opinions. The greatest revolutions are always born in minds courageous enough to disagree with accepted limitations. Abraham Lincoln endured defeat after defeat before leading a nation through one of its darkest hours. If his identity had depended upon temporary failures, history would never have remembered his name. Instead, every setback forged greater resilience. Character is not created during victory. Character is revealed when defeat offers you every reason to surrender and you choose to continue anyway. This is where your own battle begins. Every morning two voices awaken with you. One whispers comfort. It tells you to wait until tomorrow, to stay where life feels familiar, to avoid risk, to protect yourself from failure. The other voice calls you toward growth. It asks you to become someone your current habits cannot yet recognize. It reminds you that greatness has never been comfortable. One voice promises temporary relief. The other promises lasting transformation. Whichever voice you strengthen becomes the architect of your future. The mind is like a garden. Leave it unattended, and weeds grow naturally. Doubt requires no invitation. Fear needs no encouragement. Excuses spread faster than ambition because they demand nothing from you. But confidence, discipline, courage, and vision must be planted intentionally. They must be watered through daily action and protected from the storms of negativity. Every thought you entertain becomes a seed. Every repeated belief grows roots. Eventually those roots determine the harvest your life will produce. Most people spend years trying to change their circumstances while refusing to change the thinking that created those circumstances. They want different results while protecting the same habits. They pray for opportunity while clinging to comfort. They dream about extraordinary lives while making ordinary decisions. Life does not respond to wishes. It responds to consistent thought followed by relentless action. The greatest prison has no walls. It is built from beliefs repeated so often that they begin to feel like truth. I'm not good enough. People like me never succeed. It's too late. Someone else has more talent. These sentences are invisible chains. They cannot be seen, but they can imprison a lifetime of potential. Break the belief, and the chains disappear. Imagine carrying a sword forged from the strongest steel, yet refusing to draw it because someone convinced you it was made of wood. That is how millions live every day. They possess remarkable potential but never use it because they accepted someone else's opinion as their own identity. Your mind becomes whatever authority you allow to shape it. Protect it fiercely, because every belief you accept eventually becomes a direction your life follows. Success begins the moment you become the guardian of your thoughts. Not every opinion deserves entrance into your mind. Not every criticism deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your obedience. Stand watch over your inner world with the discipline of a warrior defending a kingdom, because every kingdom falls from the inside long before it falls from the outside. 7-2-12:39 p.m. Nabil Hassan 141 and Psilin Whaley, because the battle has never been against the world. It has always been against the version of yourself that settles for less than what is possible. Every sunrise presents the same invisible choice. Will you allow yesterday's disappointments to write today's story, or will you become the author of a new chapter? The answer is never found in luck. It is found in the discipline of your thinking. A mountain is not conquered in a single step. It is conquered by thousands of steps taken by someone who refuses to stop climbing. Success follows the same law. People often admire the summit while ignoring the sacrifice hidden beneath the clouds. They see the applause but never the lonely mornings. They celebrate the victory but overlook the years of unseen preparation. Greatness is always built in private before it is recognized in public. There is a reason diamonds are formed under pressure. Nature itself teaches that value is created through resistance. The strongest steel survives the hottest fire. The tallest trees withstand the fiercest storms because their roots have learned to reach deeper than the wind can pull. Why should your life be any different? Every challenge you face carries within it the opportunity to become stronger than you were before. The obstacle is not standing in your way. It is revealing the strength you did not know you possessed. Many people spend their lives asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Powerful minds ask a different question. They ask, "What is this teaching me?" One question creates victims. The other creates leaders. Your future depends on the questions you ask yourself every day. Andrew Carnegie began with almost nothing. His wealth was not born from comfort but from vision, discipline, and the ability to recognize opportunity where others saw difficulty. Walt Disney was told his ideas lacked imagination, yet he continued to imagine worlds that millions would one day enter with wonder. Those voices of doubt could not silence a mind committed to a purpose greater than temporary rejection. The world has always underestimated dreamers until those dreamers changed the world. Never wait for everyone to believe in your vision. If history teaches anything, it is that extraordinary ideas almost always appear impossible before they become inevitable. The crowd seeks proof before belief. Leaders believe before proof exists. That is the difference. Faith is not pretending obstacles do not exist. Faith is moving forward despite them. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the person you are capable of becoming. Imagine someone who wakes each morning with clarity instead of confusion. Someone whose decisions are guided by purpose instead of fear. Someone who no longer asks permission to pursue greatness. That person is not living on another continent. That person is not waiting for another lifetime. That person already exists within you, hidden beneath years of doubt, hesitation, and self-imposed limitation. Your mission is not to become someone else. Your mission is to remove everything that prevents the real you from emerging. Every excuse is another brick added to the wall between you and your destiny. I'll start next week. I don't have enough time. I'll wait until I feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. Courage is born through action, not before it. No warrior becomes fearless before entering the battlefield. Fear loses its power only after you decide to move through it. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Inspiration may ignite the fire, but discipline keeps it burning when emotions fade. There will be mornings when motivation is silent. There will be evenings when exhaustion whispers that quitting would be easier. In those moments, your habits become more important than your feelings. Winners do not act because they feel inspired. They act because they have trained themselves to honor their commitments even when comfort calls their name. The greatest victories are rarely dramatic. They are often quiet decisions repeated every single day. Choosing to read instead of scrolling. Choosing to learn instead of complain. Choosing to save instead of waste. Choosing to exercise instead of making another excuse. These small decisions appear insignificant until time multiplies them into a completely different life. Time is always multiplying something. It multiplies discipline into success, but it also multiplies procrastination into regret. The clock never stops. Every hour is an investment, whether you realize it or not. The question is simple: what future are you investing in today? Imagine standing before two doors. One door is marked comfort. It is familiar, predictable, and safe. Behind it lies a life of average results, unrealized dreams, and endless explanations for why things never changed. The other door is marked growth. It demands sacrifice, patience, resilience, and unwavering belief. It offers no guarantees except one that you will never again wonder what could have been if only you had believed in yourself. Most people spend their lives standing between those doors, hoping success will somehow find them without requiring a choice. But destiny waits on the other side of decision. Every great life begins the moment someone has the courage to walk away from comfort and toward possibility. 7-2-12:43 p.m. Nabil Hassan 141 and Psilan Whaley, possibility has a strange way of disguising itself. It rarely arrives wrapped in certainty. More often, it appears as hard work, unanswered questions, lonely mornings, difficult decisions, and seasons when it feels as though nothing is changing. That is why so many people walk away just before their breakthrough. They mistake the silence for failure. They mistake the delay for defeat. But life is always working beneath the surface, just as a seed grows roots long before it breaks through the soil. The strongest transformations are invisible before they become undeniable. Never judge your progress only by what your eyes can see. Judge it by who you are becoming while you continue to move forward. Every disciplined morning strengthens your character. Every promise you keep to yourself increases your confidence. Every difficult decision made in alignment with your purpose reinforces the identity of the person you are determined to become. Identity is the hidden engine behind every achievement. People often focus on changing their results without changing the person responsible for producing those results. They chase success while holding on to the habits of failure. They dream about abundance while thinking from a place of scarcity. They desire confidence while rehearsing insecurity every single day. Nothing truly changes until your identity changes. Stop asking, what do I want? Begin asking, who must I become to deserve the life I desire? That question changes everything. The world rewards value. It rewards competence. It rewards consistency. It rewards those who continue improving long after everyone else becomes satisfied with average. Excellence is never an accident. It is a daily decision repeated until it becomes your nature. Look at the greatest builders of history. They did not wait for perfect timing. They worked with what they had. When Henry Ford dreamed of transforming transportation, he did not possess every answer. He possessed a vision strong enough to search for them. When Walt Disney imagined an empire of imagination, banks rejected him and critics dismissed him. Yet every rejection became another reason to sharpen his resolve instead of surrendering his dream. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often invisible from the outside. It exists in the private conversations people have with themselves. One person says, "This is too difficult." Another says, "This is making me stronger." One person sees a closed door and turns back. Another builds a new entrance. One person blames the wind. Another learns how to adjust the sails. Your thoughts become instructions to your subconscious mind. If you constantly repeat that you are unlucky, incapable, or destined to fail, your actions begin to align with those beliefs without you even realizing it. But when you repeatedly declare that you are growing, learning, adapting, and becoming stronger through every challenge, your mind begins searching for evidence to prove those beliefs true. The subconscious is always listening. Speak to it with intention. Guard your imagination with the same intensity that a king guards his crown. The world will constantly attempt to replace your vision with its limitations. News headlines will tell you why you cannot succeed. Negative people will remind you of every risk. Doubt will whisper that your dreams are unrealistic. But history has never been shaped by people who accepted the limits of their generation. It has always been shaped by those who imagined something greater. Vision is more than seeing what does not yet exist. Vision is refusing to let present circumstances define your future. It is looking beyond temporary setbacks and recognizing that today's struggle can become tomorrow's greatest testimony. There will be days when you question yourself. Days when progress feels painfully slow. Days when the distance between where you are and where you want to be seems impossible to cross. In those moments, remember this: the oak tree was once an acorn that refused to give up. Every giant achievement begins as something small that is protected with extraordinary commitment. Never underestimate the power of one determined decision. One decision to wake up earlier. One decision to read instead of complain. One decision to forgive instead of carrying bitterness. One decision to learn a new skill. One decision to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Entire destinies have changed because someone made one courageous decision and refused to reverse it. Your future is not waiting for perfect conditions. It is waiting for a stronger version of you. And that version is not created by comfort. It is forged through consistency, strengthened by adversity, and refined by unwavering belief. Every challenge you overcome becomes another layer of armor. Every lesson you embrace becomes another weapon in the battle for your purpose. The world may never see those invisible victories, but they are the very foundation upon which extraordinary lives are built.